Alrighty, we're looking at a new lesson on lists. This is not really about lists like this, but it's kind of, all right, let me just get into it. So, I actually have, in a way, two different lists already here. I have words as a list, and it's the word bird, but you can think sometimes of words, and we call them strings, as a list of 4 different letters, which means that this list of words up here is actually a list of a bunch of different lists, right? This first item on my list is a list including the letters M and then Y. And the second item is a list of letters including the letters C, A, T, S. And the whole thing is a list of these different lists. So just to show exactly what I mean and get a little bit of like knowledge of what that is, I know that if I print out words, it'll print out every item in the list. My, cats, are, and cool. And if I print out the word, well, it's going to print bird, right? Bird's the word there, right? The word is bird, so when I print the word, it prints bird. Now, you also should be aware that if I said words at I'll print words at 1, that it's going to print out the item at index 1, and since we start at index 0, it's going to print out cats. So, I printed words, all of them. I printed the word, bird. I printed words at 1, it prints out cats. But what you might not have been aware of, and that's what really the whole idea of this lesson is I could say print the word at 0. And you might be saying, this is weird, this is not okay, because the word is not a list. How could I have an index at the end over here? And the thing is that since the word is a string is kind of technically, in some way or another, a list of individual letters, of individual characters. So the word at 0, which we're printing on line 8, is going to print the letter B that we see right over there, because the first index here, index 0, is holding the letter B. And if I printed it index 1, it should print I. So look over there. I'm about to print I. It does print I. If I said the word at 4, there's going to be some sort of error because this starts at index 0, index 1, 2, 3. There is no index 4. There's no letter after D. So that's why I said index error, string index out of range on line 8. So just to show that I have my regular list, but also a string is kind of a list itself. Now, we're going to go a little crazy here. Let me delete. I'll leave these guys up over here. But you can go even deeper. I could say print, and this is going to bring us, we're going to be talking about 2D arrays coming up real soon. I can print words at 1. So this is going to be cats, right? And then I can say from index 1, if I have a list inside of my list, right? This whole thing is a list of these 4 words, but the word cats is a list itself because it's a string. I can say at 1 again, and what this will do is it's going to go to, all right, I'm going to go to words. I'm going to go to, words. I'm going to go to the list words at index 1. That is cats. Now that I'm inside of cats, I'll check the second index. So I'm going to index 1 in this list. It's 0, 1. It should print out the letter A. Oh, I still have the error from over here. We'll make this 3. So this was 3. So bird at 0, 1, 2, 3 was D. Words at 1, I'm in the word cats. Index 1 of the list cats, 0, 1, is A. That's why it printed A over there. So now we're going to do a little practice program just to see this in practice. I want to make a like reverse acronym maker. So I have my cats are cool. I want to create a list of all the first letters in the sentence. So my sentence is words, and let's get rid of all this stuff over here. Boom, 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 boom. Goodbye, the word, bird. Create a list of all the first letters in the sentence. So I want to make a list. Instead of making it my cats are cool, I want to have a list MCAC. So we're going to do, well, first I'm going to make a new list. And before we've seen that you can say none for something, but if you initialize this as none, it's going to freak out when you start appending things. So you can actually just start a new variable as a blank list if you want. So now it knows that new list is a list. It's just not holding on to anything. And I'm going to do a for loop because I just got off of that for loop video. I'm going to say for I in, and let's practice the counter for loop. So I'm going to say for I in range, the length of words. For I in range, the length of words. So now I've got my counter all set up in a for loop setting. For I in range, length of words, I'm going to say new list dot append, and I'm going to append words at I at 0. So now let's just see what's happening over here. I could say print words at I, and watch what happens when I print words at I. It's just going to print out my cats are cool. That is our for counter working, right? I made a little counter variable automatically in here using the range and the length of words. And I go to words at I, so it gets every item my cats are cool. And now here I'm going to append to my list words at I at 0. So words at I is going to be, well, my cats are cool. And at 0 is getting the 0th index of each of these strings. So instead of words at I could say words at I at 0 just to see what that is. And if I run this, it's going to be MCAC because it's words at I. So that's every number throughout the list. And then at 0 is just always going to be, well, in the 0th item on my list, I'm going to the 0th letter. That's M. So I print out M. Then the first item on my list, I'm still always going to, this is a hard-coded 0 in there, the 0th letter, which is C. C. The second item on my list, 0, 1, 2. And then still the 0th index of that, so A, and then C for the last one. So if I have this little for loop here and then I print my new list at the end, it should print out MCAC, meaning that I created my list that I appended, one word at a time, all the individual first letters in that list. And if you prefer while loops, let me do the while loop version for you really quick. So I'm going to make I'll just, comment this out and let's make a while loop version really quick. So I'm going to say, for a while loop version, this is why people like for loops more, right? I'm going to say counter equals 0. While the counter is less than the length of my words list, I'm going to new list dot append words at counter at 0. And then I'm going to say counter equals counter plus 1. So literally this is why people like for loops more, because it's only 2 lines and it doesn't have this less than thing and you don't need to include this counter, but it'll do the same thing. If I print my new list and I try running this, nothing's going to change here. Let me click run because it did the exact same thing, right? I went through the list using a while loop instead of a for loop, and I appended words at the counter each time at index 0, so it's getting the first letter at each item. And then I did counter plus 1, printed the new list. So that was just some more information about lists and how strings and words themselves are lists in their own right. And we also saw a little bit of doing this double indices where I'm getting the first, well, here, let's do one more just final summary. So I can print words at 2 at 0. And this is going to print out the letter A because I went to words. I went to index 2 first. Index 2 first, so 0, 1, 2. I went to the word R. And then I went to, in that list, index 0, which was the letter A. If I switch this to index 1, it would print out the letter R because I went to words at index 2. And then in this word, I'm going to index 1, which is 0, 1, prints out the letter R. So yeah, that was just a bit more on lists and how strings themselves actually have some kind of list properties to them. And you can even, yeah, that's it. I'm not going to talk anymore.